Isn't it strange that some of the things that are the most precious are both the most intangible and the most fragile, right? So, think of things uh, like trust in a relationship, right? It literally, it's like the foundation of what would make a relationship work. But it is so fragile. It's so, easy to break. Um, think of things, golly, that feels like one of the most important things, but it feels like if you are not caring for like the small things, it's easy to break something that's important. Um, I was thinking this week, about the value of your name, right? Like when in the Hebrew culture, like they look at a child from the moment that they were born, and they would consider what the trajectory of their life would be, and then they would name that child, or they consider the circumstances that that child was born in, and then name them, right? Son of my sorrows, um, Yeshua, the one who saves, Emmanuel, God with us, right? Um, my name, Samuel, one who hears from God. If you don't know what your name means, go find out. Type it in the comments if you found out something interesting. Um, but it made me think. It made me think about the way that people's name impact me. Like, okay, I want you to take a second, and I want you to think about uh, one of your dearest friends, and when you hear their name, how it impacts you. Right? Some of you probably smiled just as you were hearing this, just thinking about this closest friend of yours. Now, you think about you hear the name of someone who has not been kind to you, not even thinking about that person themselves, but when you hear their name, it has an impact on you, right? It has an emotional effect, it has a psychological effect. You hear this person's name, someone could say this person's name and not even be talking about the same person uh, who has a negative impact on you, but just hearing that name changes. It can change your state, right? But you know what that made me realize? That literally is all branding is. It is all that branding is. When you hear a name, what you associate with that name, right? Um, when you hear the name, I don't know why, something like Louis Vuitton or Adidas, or when you hear these names, you hear Nike or Michael Jordan, Nike and Michael Jordan, they seem synonymous. But when you hear a name, it impacts you somehow, right? But I think what that means is these two things tied together, that if you are not intentional, if you're not intentional, and if you don't steward your name, then you could break trust. And this most precious, most valuable thing, I think your name is among the most precious, most valuable things that you've ever been entrusted with. Proverbs says that a good name is to be more desired than silver or gold. Isn't that wild? Like, and I'm certain in the business world, here's what's wild to me. Like, folks think the same way in the business world. Like, if you've got brand trust, right? You care for that name. It affects the way that you produce things. It affects the way that you serve people. You're like, no, I can't damage or mar this brand. Like, I can't damage or mar the way that my name impacts those who hear it. And some of you might be tempted to feel like, shucks, man, this is hopeless. Like, what the heck am I going to do? Like, I've messed up. I've done things that are terrible, and I've ruined my name. There's never a circumstance in our life where things are without hope, especially with, King Jesus, the one who is the Prince of Peace, and he is our hope, right? But I want you to take account today of how you stewarded your name in the past and how you can steward it going forward. And the most simple way that you can steward your name is that when you say you will do something, you do it. When you make a promise or you give your word, it's like, well, my word is my bond. Even if it hurts me, even if it hurts me, I will do what I said that I will do. And so I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that you've been entrusted something that is more precious than gold. Your name. Your name. And if you treat it right, it will open doors for you that no one can possibly close. If you steward it well, when your name is spoken in rooms that you're not in, it will like open doors, it will break down barriers just by virtue of your name or your brand, right? um, and so I want to bless you real quick. Um, Papa, I ask that you would bless anyone who hears this, that they will begin to engage and steward their name, that if they're asked to do something, that they would do it with all of their strength and their ability, thereby making their name sweet to the ears that hear it and on the lips of those who speak it. Would you break off fear? Would you break off any shame from many mistakes that they've made in past seasons? Um, and I ask that you restore joy. Yeah, I bless y'all. No, shut up.